Hello again, Steve Peacocke here for Teams Without Limits. Today I'm going to let you in on something I've been developing for the past 20 years. It's something that I've developed rather than learned about in books. It is my system that I'm working with, and I've proven it many, many times. To give an example now, I have been leading teams for more than 40 years. Technical teams, small teams, large teams of more than 100, in organizations of small and multinationals, in government departments, and in more than 6 different countries over that time. I've taught and mentored over 2,000 individuals, and a lot of them team leaders. Where this comes in as something I've now called flow, form, feel. The Dragon's Arm flow, form, feel system. It sounds simplistic. It's not. It's simplistic to think of, which is good, which is why I want it. But it has depth as well, and I'll go into it. So what is flow, form, feel? It's a diagnostic into the team and what they're doing. So it was Albert Einstein who's reported to have said to somebody, if he had an hour to solve a problem, then he would spend the first 55 minutes defining that problem, what it is, and 5 minutes solving it. And this is what this flow, form, feel comes out as. It diagnoses the problem. It just what you see every day is symptoms of the problem. It's not necessarily the root cause of the problem. And this flow, form, feel helps the root cause of the problem. Flow is the flow of work from when you get something to have your team do through to the time they deliver it. And flow is the continuous change that it goes through until it's delivered. So how many hands it goes through, what problems, if you can think of a straight Scrum or Kanban board, it's the columns it goes through, all the other bits and pieces like that. And it relates to being able to see and feel that flow. And most times you can't. Every single team I go into has this problem. Now, talking about that experience that I had before, remember, I'm a consultant. So the teams I go into, there would have been hundreds of teams that I've dealt with over those years. I might be there for 3 months, or I might be there for 6 months. Occasionally I'm there for a year or two. But it's multiple teams, and every single one of them has that flow problem. They also have form and feel, but I'll go into that later. But the flow problem is the first one I look at. And if I can't feel that flow, something's wrong. Where's the flow stop? And I'll give you some of the symptoms that come up with this. Items that are sitting in a on-hold column. How's that? On hold. On hold is a wonderful place where work disappears, never to be seen again. So items that are too difficult to do at the moment or are waiting on something, they go into the on hold column and they're never looked at again. It's out of mind of most people. They go in and say, what have I got next? What's to do? What am I doing at the moment? What's being tested? All the other bits and pieces that are happening. They're looking at that type of flow. Well, no, as a team lead, you're looking at the whole flow. And this is the whole idea, where it works, what stops flow. Another symptom is having items sitting in the board for 3 months or 2 months or even 3 weeks. You want to be able to see a change on that board pretty much every day. Of course, the team will always, it never fails me, every single team, we can't split this one up. It's a single item. It can't be delivered. It takes 4 weeks to build this particular item. It can't be sliced up into parts. That is a problem again. That stops flow dead. And we're going to go into those in future episodes of how to work with that type of situation and your type of work there that happens. The next area that take a look at is called form. Now, the idea of form is everything that interacts with the team. Everything. That includes the organization, the structure of the organization, the team itself, the structure of that team. Is the team too large? Is the team too small? Is the team working together well? Is the team reporting to different managers? Is the team affected by other teams? Do they have to hand off and wait for a return for some items of work? All of that is form. People being asked to operate under the wrong framework. Now, I had that here recently. I joined a team here, and the organization says every team must do Scrum. Now, the problem was the work that we were doing wasn't predictable. In other words, we couldn't tell you for the next 2 weeks' work. We couldn't plan. So it was a very difficult situation. So when I looked at form there, I said, we're not a Scrum team. This work that we're doing doesn't relate to Scrum. Now, I love Scrum. It's great. It's wonderful. But it doesn't. The work that they were doing related more to Kanban. So we changed to Kanban. When I got a kickback from the organization, I said, organization, what are you after? Are you after prescribed task list, or are you after an agile way of working? And it was that agile way of working, and of course Kanban fits into that quite nicely. So we were able to get that across the line, which is good. But that's the form side of things. It's also, how many people in your team are part of your team? Do they go from team to team having meetings all the time and never actually get around to doing work? What are the meetings that your team does have, even if it's one tight team? Are they serving the role that they should be doing? Your meeting? Are you getting the results out of the meeting that you should be getting? Are you having the meetings, the correct type of meetings? Are they taking too long? Are your meetings 3 hours once a week? Some of those, like a backlog refinement, it might be, long meetings. Is that necessary? I know I have 2 teams in at the moment, and they're quite large teams, and their backlog refinement only lasts 30 minutes and sometimes less a week. So it isn't, and they started out, it was about 3 hours, I think, a week. So that's form. And then you get into feel. And as you might have guessed, feel is all about how the team reacts and how the team actually copes with every day. Are they enjoying work? Do they interact well together? Do Harry and Fred always fighting? Does Francis forever hold the team up doing most of the work? That sort of feel. How's the team feel? How's the interaction happening? Is the team enjoying work? Do they come to work looking forward to the type of work they're doing, or do they hate coming to work? And the feel is not only their own interactions and how they feel about things. Feel is also you. How's your gut feeling? How do you feel when you go home at night? Do you go home at night saying, wow, that's a great team, this is absolutely fantastic, the sort of work they're doing, the type of flow that they're having, all that sort of interaction is really good? Or do you say, yeah, it's great and I enjoy it, but there's something not quite right and I can't put my finger on it? And that's what flow, form, feel does. It allows you to put your finger on it. So it's a diagnostic lens on everything relating to to your team and yourself. Some of these symptoms you can see with teams might be things like you have a meeting and nobody comes up with new ideas. Nobody really says anything. Or if you ask how big is this particular task, everybody stops and waits for the senior to be able to come up with, oh, that's going to take 2 days, or whatever it is. It's that type of thing. They don't actually offer advice or new information in any of the meetings. Another symptom might be jokes that aren't really jokes, and it shows an underlying tension, and it's not good. And it reacts with people's silence. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. I've had teams where you come in each morning, there's really no interaction between the teams when I first started, and I knew it was 5 o'clock because I could hear the rattle of the headphones hitting the desk and look up and see chairs swirling, but nobody there. They've gone. So it's that sort of thing, through to a couple of months later, walking through that team area and having to duck, paper darts flying at each other, and jokes going backwards and forwards, true jokes between team members, and that's a team. That's great. And we go into that quite a lot over coming episodes as well as my circle, which I have. I run a circle every now and then. I'll come back to that in a moment. But that's the idea of flow, form, feel. Flow, the flow of work. Form, everything that relates to the team and the work. And feel is how the team actually feels, really. And that's it. But they're not in isolation. You cannot use one thinking that's it. They all interact. It's like juggling balls in the air all the time. They interact with each other. So you might have the team loving coming to work, interacting well, playing games with each other, doing all sorts of things, but you're not getting the flow of work going through. You might get a great flow of work going through, but it's not really delivering anything. They're just tasks for the sake of tasks. And getting the board and the flow looking nice in order to make you feel good. But the team itself then feels not good because they're not delivering quality and they're not delivering anything of value. It's something that I have proven time and again. Give me 3 months and I don't care where your team is, I don't care what happens. Within 3 months of flow, form, feel, you can make your team into a top-class team where your managers and customers go, wow, that's amazing. I haven't seen it like that. Where your team are coming back to you saying, I was worried about what was happening at the start, but I love what's happening. Look at this. This is great. I love coming into work. I love what the team's doing. It's that sort of reaction that you can do inside 3 months. High-performing team, they used to call them, but it's an overused term nowadays, but it's still the same. Follow me. Click subscribe on this to come back, and I'll go into this flow, form, feel a great deal coming up. One of the other areas that I do as well is I have something called the Dragon's Arm Feel Circle, and I'd love you to consider that. It's a 90-minute session every fortnight. So every 2 weeks, we get on Zoom. I don't care what country you're in or whether you're in the same time zone. If you can hit that time that we put them on, so that's usually my evenings at this stage in Brisbane, Australia. So work out that time if you can work it through. It's limited to about 10 people per session, per circle. It goes for 3 months. So every fortnight, 90 minutes for 3 months. With that limit of 10 people allows the trust within that circle, and then discussions happen. So it's quite good. You go into things like breakout rooms and work on things. We delve deeper into flow, form, feel. You get to have a copy of some of the things that are created around flow, form, feel, and we talk about not only my experiences and work on some of these, what would you have done here, but we also work on yours as well, because a lot of the experiences and a lot of the learning happens when you're talking to people. It's a good idea to do that. You're not alone. Whereas very often, I know I struggle with it myself, when you go into an organization, as a team lead, it's a fairly lonely position. You're part of the team, yes, and once the team is working well, you're really into it. Then the team says, hey, let's go for a cup of coffee. Do you want to go, Steve? And I'd come along as well. But other times I'd say, no, I've got work to do. And leave them to it, because they need to gel as a team, not gel around the team leader. They need to gel as a team. So it's a very lonely position. So this cohort that we have, the Dragon's Arm Field Circle, is a good way of becoming part of your own team, if you like, with peers, talking about things that are really relevant. So leave a comment if you want to be considered for the next cohort or the next circle that's starting up, and I'll get a hold of you. Subscribe, listen to the other podcasts, and I will see you again soon. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it. Have fun. It's a beautiful day here in Cleveland, Australia. Cleveland is not far from Brisbane, down on the coast, as you can see behind me there at the boats in the yard there. So I will see you later. I've got to go for a bike ride. See ya. Bye.